Okay, next is a JavaScript exercise. So in this exercise, what you have to do is you have to create a form to get all these inputs. Okay, and you have to use only HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. You should not use any JavaScript libraries. Okay, and the form should have submit button and a cancel button. On clicking the submit button, you have to validate the form. Right? It should contain the first name, last name. Okay, if you click the submit button without the first name last name entered, we have to create a span tag dynamically, right? And if this fields are not entered, right, you have to create a span tag, and then we have to display some error message, right, that these fields are not entered, and you have to insert that next to that input element. Okay, let's go and see appropriate code. This is the same apart from this HTML CSS. You have this is a JavaScript assignment. So let's go live to see how this form works. So this is how it will be, right? This is a form we are asked to create it. Okay, this is a form uh, you have to create. So once you create this form, right, these are the different elements are there, everything. Now you have not filled it. Now if you click the submit button, this is the error message. These are created using span tag. These are generated dynamically, right? Now when I enter something, right, BA, and then click submit, that error message has gone. That particular error message will go off, right? And when I click cancel button, the form should be cleared and also the error message should go off. Okay, and that is what is mentioned in this document. Okay, after the field is given a value, then the span tag should be removed. Then on clicking the cancel button also, you have to clear the form and the span tag should be removed. If all the fields are values, then all the fields are values. If values are entered properly in the table, then we have to create a table and display the information. This table also should be created dynamically, right? Now there is no table. Suppose I fill the data, right? I click the checkbox, I click something, here, and I click submit button. A table has to be created and displayed. If again something is done, one more table has to be created. Okay, if I refresh the page, the table will go off. Okay, this is what the assignment is, right? You how to create this form and how to do the validation and how to display the table, whatever the data entered here, right? How to display it in a table is what is assignment. Okay, now I strongly recommend you to give a try about the assignment, right? If you are not able to do that, okay, now here pause the video, don't continue the video, pause the video and do it yourself. Now if you are not able to, try for some time, if you are not able to do video, now unpause it and I will explain the solution. Okay, so the solution is obviously, before going here, right, check what are the element tags we have to use for this. For first name you have to use label tag. So everything will be coming under the form element, right? Everything is part of the form, and first name is label, and this will be input and type is text. Same case is applied here. This also will be label. This is a input but type will be checkbox. This will be label. This is input but type will be radio, and this is a text area element we have to use. Okay, and this will be also input but type will be select, right, for the option 1 and option 2, right? uh, so the thing is the element itself, right, the element itself is a tag. You have to use a select tag, and then id is dropped. Id is anything you can use, and for the selector we'll have different options. That option is what is getting displayed here in the drop down. Submit, you can also have an input tag for this. It's an input tag with a type submit, and cancel is type button. Okay, when you click cancel, on click, there is function is getting called. Okay, this is how this is displayed. Okay, now when I enter the data here, right, and when I click the submit button, what happens? How this span tag is coming? right? How this message is coming, right? How this is coming next to this, and that is what I will be explaining now. Okay. So for that, the first thing is this form is of ID use form. Okay. Now I'm getting an element. Okay. So here I'm using JavaScript for that DOM manipulation. Okay. So obviously JavaScript code will come under the script tag. So first I'm getting the element, right? This use form is obvious. This use form element is for the form. So I'm getting the form. Okay, I'm adding an event listener for the submit of the form. So when a submit button is clicked, right, this function will get called. Okay, in the function, what I'm doing, first I'm preventing default. So what is prevent default? See, prevent default is used to prevent any default action which happens when an event occurs. Right? When a submit button is clicked, right, that is event. That is an event. So usually when a submit button is clicked, the page will be refreshed. Since we have used prevent defaults, the page will not be refreshed. Okay, and then the first thing I'm doing in this is, right, when a submit button is clicked, I'm clearing the spans. If there is any spans, right, when you clear, if you have created any span element, I'm clearing it. Okay, so we will see how what the clear span does. Okay, so now I am validating the form. Okay, so let's go to validate form. So in the validate form, right, what I have to do, I have to check whether the first name, last name, and email is entered. So this and all I'm storing in an array, and then I'm iterating to the array for each for this, right, array dot for each. This for each loop, right, it iterates over all elements in the array, right. So this is a function, right, the field, this is a function which is the argument to the for each, and this function will be called for all elements in the array. So first the field value will be first name. Second time when the loop comes, the field value will be last name, and third time the field will be this field will be your email. Okay. So every time I'm getting that element by ID. Okay, because all these elements, right, the ID is first name, last name, and email. So I'm getting the element by ID. Okay, and then I'm checking its value. If the value is empty, right, it's not of value, then what you have to do, you have to create a span. Okay, when you create a span, right, while creating a span, what I'm doing is I am passing this element. Which element I am passing? You're getting the element by ID, right? So this is the element you are getting. So I am passing this input element to the create span. So I'm passing an input element and a message. What I'm passing? The field value. So first name is required. If this is not entered, last name is required. So this span, I'm creating the span. That is how this first name is required, last name is required is coming. Okay. So I'm creating a span. Okay. If it is if the input algorithm. So when I create span is called, so obviously to create a span, I need to create a span element. This is an error message. So class name I bring error message, and content of the span, whatever message you have passed, right, that is the content of the span. So this is a span is created. Now this element has to be inserted into our document, right? Where to insert? I have to insert here, right? So what I'm doing is our input tag, right? I'm going to the parent node of the input tag. So what is the parent node of the input tag? This is the input tag. What is the parent node? Parent node is a form. Okay. So I'm going to that. Okay. Okay. I'm getting to the parent node, which is a form, and I am inserting before. I'm inserting the span, whatever I created, before the input next sibling. What is the next sibling? For this input tag, this part is the next sibling. So you are inserting before the next sibling, right? So uh, when you create this tag, right? When you create a span tag for the first name, next sibling will be last name. When you create a span tag for the last name, the next sibling will be the email, right? So the span tag is created before the next sibling. So you have created a span tag. So you all see when you create a span tag, you are also created it and you are also inserted in the document. Okay, and you put is valid is equal to false. Okay, and you are looping through all the elements. Okay. You're looping through all the elements, and then you're creating a span tag if the input field is empty. Okay, you created a span tag. Okay, so one validate form, if it is empty, you're creating a span tag. Okay, so finally what is your written? If if you have entered all the values properly, then this will be false always. All the values are entered, so the span will not be created, and its value will be true. You're returning true. If it is true, you're creating a table. So in the table only, we are creating a table here. So in the table, what are you doing? First, I have to create a header, right? Every table will have a header. So the headers is nothing but field and value. So first, I have to create a table element, okay? And then for the table, right, I have to insert row. First, I'm inserting row 0. This no row 0 is nothing but the header row, correct? So let's go and create the row, create the table. So I just enter some value. So row is created. Now what is you are doing is first you are inserting you're creating a table and you are inserted a row. For every row, right, there will be cell, right? So this is in the row. This is the first cell, cell 0, and this is cell index 1. Right, for the second row, this is cell index 0, and this is cell index 1. Okay, so for every row we have this. So what I'm doing is for each, right, for this headers, right, I'm going through all the values in the header, right. I am then I am getting the cell, right. I'm inserting a cell for the header row. For each row I'm inserting a cell. Okay, so here this loop will run for all the values in this header. For field value, the header value will be field and the index value will be 0. Second time when it runs, this header value will be value and the index will be 1. Okay, so the first time you are inserting a cell in index 0. First time it is running, index will be 0. So we are inserting a cell 0, and the text content is header. Header is what? Nothing but field, and that is how this field has come. Okay, and similarly, second time it runs, the header value is value. The header is value, and index is 1. So second index you are putting a text content as value. This is how this has come. So after putting this, I am having all the data in a key value pair, right? First name, okay. Um First name, I'm getting all the values from this form. Document get element by id. In that dot value I'm putting, and I'm getting all the values from the form, right, and I'm storing in this variable. Now what I'm doing here, I'm iterating through all the variables and inserting a row for it, and inserting two values. There are two cells, right? For each row there are two cells. First cell is the field set. The text content will be your field, right? Second content is the value. The value comes from you're iterating to what? Data. So there are two values, right? This is a field and this is a value. There are two datas in this array, in this data, right? There are two values. I'm iterating to that using the for each. One is a field which will give you this one, and the other is a value. So first content, right? First cell I'm inserting the field, which will be the first name, last name, all these things, right? All name. And second content I'm inserting the value. Value will be whatever you entered in the form, right? That value is come here. And this is how the table is displayed. Okay. Now when you click cancel button, right, so finally the table is displayed, right? Your table is, you have created a table, right, and the table has to be displayed here. So for that you have to append your table to the document body. So that is how the table is getting appended here. When you click one more time, again it will be appended, so you'll have two tables. Okay, so when you click cancel button, you have to, what you'll do, you have to clear the form, correct? The clear form on click of cancel button, right? Clear form is called. So in the clear form, First you are resetting the form. Form.reset, what will do? Basically you reset the form. The complete form, right? The form values will be reset. Okay. And then a clear span function is called. The clear span, what you are doing? You are querying all with error class name. So all the thing with dot error, right? The class name is error, right? With all the thing with dot error, you're getting here and you're iterating to it. Okay, you're iterating to it, and current span parent node you're doing, and you're removing that child. You're going to the parent node and removing the child. That is how you're removing the span. That is how when you click the cancel button, the spans are removed. Okay, so the spans parent node and you're using the child, going to the parent node and removing this child itself. Okay, so this is how this form is validated. Okay, don't worry if you're not able to understand the video. Pause the video, see the video again, and still if you're not able to understand, don't worry, we will clear that in the live sessions. Okay, this session is very important. After finishing this session only, after finishing this exercise only, you have to go to the next exercise. Our next exercise is the CRUD in using MERN stack. So finish this exercise and then go to the CRUD. Okay, please follow it. And CRUD, what we will suggest is go through these CRUD videos. This is a list of playlist. Okay, uh, you have a list of videos in the CRUD. Okay, and code walkthrough, this particular video you need not see. One second, if I check if I can remove this. Okay, I'll remove this. Okay, so now you see all these videos. Okay, while seeing the videos, please take notes, otherwise you will going to forget it, right? So see the videos. Okay, and I will give links to the, I have already given links, I will give links to the GitHub repository for this CRUD project and this project, right? I will give you the link to the classroom. Okay, so see that, and then we have also given links to the this CRUD operation, right? Using a function component. I think use this link, download the code, use the code for reference. And again, I'm repeating, you can refer the code, you can try to understand from the code. Don't try to see the code now and then and code. Now you see the code completely and code on your own. Okay, that is how you can improve. Okay, so once you finish CRUD, then you can try to deploy this your project in cloud using DevOps tools. Okay, we will see that in a separate video.